Okay. So we're moving on to the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions? Any additions to the agenda? Any deletions? Moving on to the agenda. Are there any additions?
Because you have the YouTube.
Additions? Any additions?
Because you have the. Yeah, no, don't stop it. Go to the YouTube screen. Go to the YouTube. Yeah.
Sorry for the delay, just a little glitch in the technology.
So.
So we'll move ahead. Are there any changes to the agenda? Don't see any changes. I would ask someone to make the motion to approve the agenda as presented. Trustee DeMarco,
I move that the board approve the agenda as presented.
all those in favor? That's. The meeting minutes from the last meeting, everyone's had a chance to have a look at them. The tenant put the motion forward and if there's any discussion. Trustee Terrace Ross.
I move that the board approve the minutes of the regular meeting on January 17, 2024 as circulated.
Is there any discussion about those minutes? And I'll call the question. All those in favor? That's unanimous. We'll have a look at the board priorities, the goals and priorities. Thank you. And we'll move on to the executive administrative reports, the board chair report. Are there any questions regarding that? It is a busy time. Any questions of superintendent report? Does anyone have any questions regarding the superintendent report? Trustee Miller?
Thank you. I have one topic, a few different areas, kind of the same type of question for all three areas. So in the reviewed and provided feedback on the Alberta Education Draft Social Curriculum. Met with curriculum leads within the division to discuss the Alberta education updates and strategies to support student learning through the lens of the new curriculum. And conducted a semi-annual multi-school check-in regarding supports needed for new curriculum, best teaching practices, and literacy program alignment with outcome-based reporting. So my questions in all three areas are, how is this going? Are we finding we have enough resources? Are students responding to the new curriculum, or do they seem to be falling backwards learning the new curriculum? That makes sense. So just some general information around the new curriculum and thoughts on the draft social curriculum.
Thank you. I'll ask Superintendent Bouchard to.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll defer this question to Assistant Superintendent Cardinal, who oversees curriculum.
In terms of the social studies curriculum, they are only planning on piloting K-3 for September. The original was K-12. However, with the feedback received from the review that the director and I attended was that they needed to really scale it back because some of the outcomes were not developmentally appropriate. And so they needed to have another look at it. That's overwhelmingly the feedback from the social curriculum. In regards to resources, yes, we seem to be a bit short on resources. However, it does seem that Alberta Education is working on it. So they are working with publishers to produce more resources. They are also updating Learn Alberta, the new Learn Alberta, and they have different resources on that site, and they're continuing to develop them to match the new curriculum. In regards to when you're saying that children are falling back, I guess what's happening there are some learning gaps with students. So let's say if the child is in grade 3 and the new curriculum is being implemented at grade 3, they then will have lost or have not completely covered the entire curriculum, new curriculum for grades 2 and grades 1 and kindergarten. And so those teachers need to work to help to essentially get them caught up on some of those concepts and skills from the new curriculum. Did that answer all of your questions, or was there anything else?
Trustee Miller, this is.
Thank you. It does. I do have a follow-up from that. Is there anything to understand or learn regarding the French immersion resources? Are those keeping in line with new curriculum?
Well, I'm not too sure, but I do know that typically the French immersion resources, they follow the regular resources like the English resources. So they will develop the English resources and then just shortly after they develop French immersion. So that's always been the pattern in terms of development. So I'm sure that they're continuing to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? I have a couple. I was wondering about the Archdiocese, if you refresh my memory on the Archdiocese Art Project. When I saw it on there, I sort of remember, but if you refresh my memory on that when the time is, Mr. Bouchard?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the for those who've been to the diocesan office, there is a hall. It's like an old auditorium. So the Archbishop has kind of commented that it's kind of a blank space. It's a little bit vacant. So he's put a call out to all the school divisions in the diocese to submit one piece of art and to brand it with the division's logo and colors to be displayed in the, I'll call it the Great Hall. And so we're partaking in that project. There will be kind of a open house to visit and thank the participants. So the student whose art was selected will be invited to attend the May 7th ceremony. And just to showcase the various pieces of art, and the students were asked to submit a piece of artwork that was related to our division theme for the year. So that is kind of what we will put forward for that piece of art.
Okay, it's going to be a hard decision.
Yeah.
Thank you. The other thing I was wondering about was number 5 and there's number 6, the bullet point, the EA professional development series. Is this for all EAs or is it just new EAs or is it ongoing?
Yeah, so that is a new pilot program by Alberta Education, and I'll have Assistant Superintendent Cardinal maybe tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you.
So currently we have 8 educational assistants that have volunteered for this program. And it was put out to the division and to the principals to approve any EAs that would like to take part, and we had 8, which is excellent. What happens is that there's a period of coaching for the EAs with a lead coach, which is the Director of Student Services, Chris Puro. And so she's the main coach, and she works with the educational assistants as they're completing online modules. And she's helping to guide and shape them essentially. And when they come up with any issues, she's the one that they will consult with directly. And they work right in the schools implementing the strategies that they learn in the online classrooms.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. Are there other questions?
I just have a other follow-up. So this is provincial initiative wanting to harmonize all EA programs or.
Well, so this was, Alberta Education gave Edmonton Public some seed money to create this, because one of the feedback pieces that was given to the province is that EAs need more training. So rather than go for an intensive, say for example, 2-year program, this would be something that could be done in-house across the province. So Edmonton Public received that seed money, but they also had to share that with other divisions. So as Assistant Superintendent Cardinal mentioned, that sharing is what's happening now, and school divisions have the opportunity now to kind of pilot those courses.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Any other questions for the superintendent? No, then we will move on to the Secretary Treasurer's report. Questions for the Secretary Treasurer?
So yeah.
Please tell us yes.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure.
So, let's see. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is just an extension of the current agreement that we have. That the School Board Community Purchasing Consortium already has. The current agreement expires in 2040. What the consortium has looked at are options where we could actually control, the volatility in the pricing of energy or electricity. And one way that was actually identified to a consultant was that perhaps we need to add a solar project, but which will actually be which the solar power will then be stored in the battery, which will then be distributed to the schools, and part of it will also be sold. So the energy that will be sold is the one that is going to subsidize the volatility, the prices that are actually going higher and higher as we go. But certainly that project will actually stabilize it and even lower the cost per kilowatt hour. So that is the expectation for this particular project. And so it is expected to run from 2025 to for the remainder of that particular agreement. And as such, that consultant, this is based on the consultant's recommendations of what we need to do as a group. And also, we have also had, the Eureka Energy Management consultant who also reviewed this particular arrangement, and we actually confirmed that this is the best way that we could actually use to mitigate the price increases in electricity. And also there has been a lawyer who has explained this particular agreement that we intend to go in. But what is also important is that there will be no capital outlay that we need to put towards this particular project. It's just whatever the cost goes to be recovered through the normal payments that we do. So we are bringing this for the trustees information, And just in also for your information and also so that you are also aware of what is happening with the consortium that we assigned.
Well, it sounds like it was very well thought out and very well researched and the best way to go to. And I don't know a lot of this, but it's very. So does anyone have any questions regarding this? Yes.
You said there's no charge.
Yeah, there will be some costs, but there is no capital, there's no money that we need to pay upfront. But whatever the cost for installation of those batteries will be recovered through on the monthly payments that we always pay anyway. So it will be recovered through that. But even including the cost of those battery installations, what will happen is that the cost per kilowatt hour for us was brought down for all the members was brought down once it is installed.
Sounds like a win-win.
It sounds like it, isn't it? So good English.
So I'm not sure if all trustees were aware. You want to give the
Yeah.
back
Sure.
please? Yeah.
So it was 15 years ago that the division entered into this electricity agreement with a number of school divisions. Not every school division in Alberta is a part of this. So there is a conglomerate of school divisions that entered into this wind power agreement. For a lot of years, actually, we were paying maybe a little bit more than the going rate. But when electricity prices climbed in the last few years, we were actually saving money. So the purpose of the consortium is to find environmentally efficient ways to gather our electricity and meet those needs. So that was why we initially went in this consortium. So this is another further enhancement to that group's program to continue to find environmentally efficient ways to gather power and to do it in a manner that's fiscally responsible. So that is kind of the history. We've been in it for 15 years and we have a number of years to go, but it's been, I would say, overall positive for the division.
And just to add on, when I came onto the board, that debate came out, why spending or why going into these, let's move out, let's get out, right? Because people didn't, but again, the board at the time saw the need in the forecast, and here we are. Yeah, it's like then benefiting from the seed that was planted at the time, yeah.
So it's good to wait it out and we're in a good place right now.
But people are like, why waste that money? That was
That's good. Any other questions about that? Okay, so we will move on to the business items, 5.1, the budget assumptions, and I will turn it over to trustee Miller, chair of the finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as per the board's annual work plan, trustees are able to submit proposed initiatives for the board's consideration. As the finance committee chair, we have received no requested initiatives, and we have directed administration to proceed with the standard budget preparations and assumptions.
So much. Any questions? We'll move on to the draft capital plan ranking. Turning this over to trustee Miller.
Thank you. So the long range planning committee has been working towards our capital plan rankings for this year. Every year we submit them to the province for consideration. So before you all can see the school year data as well as the rankings. They're broken up into three major components: health and safety, building condition, and enrollment pressures. As well as functionality and programming. Keep in mind that for health and safety, low is a good rating and high is not so good. So we have presented, it is a draft, so next month we will be presenting a capital plan to be voted upon, motioned, but this is available for us to discuss where we see the rankings that we are proposing right now. They are very, very similar to last year's. The only difference is with the increased pressure on our schools in the Duke area and changing demographics with new public school here in Leduc. There is consideration for a new build in Leduc the proposal is that will take over our 5th position, which puts Notre Dame and St. Anthony's back a position at 6 and 7. So that is our proposed draft capital plan at this point.
Discussion. We're not making a motion on this today.
No, it's just being presented. Individual trustees can give their input to long-range planning. We will take that into consideration at our next meeting, and then next month we will present the actual motion.
So you're like individual trustees to send email with things or that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah, or discuss in public if they wish to, if there's something burning on their heart to identify.
Does anyone have something they'd like to say regarding this list? Trustee Taylor, yes.
I thought, Michael, that we were going to switch it up people because
Oh,
trustee Evan wasn't here.
no, so that's regarding separate, yes.
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
Was there anything about the ranking?
No, we discussed.
The only thing I would note is that the schools on the Duke are getting very high with their numbers. There's that capacity. It's not sure the new public school that will change that at all. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I will say, I guess, province-wide, it's a decision of when we're making this list, it's a very difficult decision for us to make. We're not trying to, when different projects get put higher, oftentimes there's increased pressures. As you can see with Leduc, there are 3 schools that are over 80%, and 85% is considered maximum for instructional space. So
Yeah, so you can see when you're looking at this. Sacred Heart is one that's 90%. Is there any other discussion about this? Okay, thank you. Then we'll move on to the action items, 6.1. This will turn over to trustee Miller.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So before you today, being presented, this guide will assist today's finance committee, today's board of directors and or board of trustees and future iterations of our board in considering requests that have a financial impact on the board and division that are requested outside of the normal budgeting process, including requests from external parties. So this was created to assist the committee in considering items that might have a financial impact outside of our normal spending and creation of our budget.
And this would be the first and final reading because it's an appendix.
Correct.
Needs to be on.
Would you like me? Yeah. So I move that the board give policy 7, appendix I(1), guiding principles to the board and stakeholder directed budget initiatives, first and final reading, and that the new appendix now be in effect for the division.
Thank you. Is there any discussion regarding this appendix to policy 7? I just think it's a good idea to have is listed out here, so we can be looked at. Any other discussion? Then I will call the question. All those in favor? Thank you so much. Next thing on the agenda is the Canadian Catholic School Trustee Association sponsorship request. And Trustee Miller.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will move the motion first and then if I can speak to it. Thank you. I move that the board approve a sponsorship to the 2024 CCSTA convention in the amount of $750. And speak to this.
Yes, please do.
Thank you. The Canadian Catholic School Trustee Association Convention will be held in Calgary on May 30th to June 1st, 2024. This event is being hosted by Calgary Catholic School Division this year and will see Catholic trustees and administrators from across the country come together to celebrate the accomplishments of our Catholic boards and to engage in discussions surrounding the biggest issues facing Catholic school trustees this year and into the future. The Convention Planning Committee has requested sponsorship from the ACSTA member boards, of which STAR is one, with a donation. The Finance Committee has reviewed the request and the board's budget and recommends that a donation of up to $750 is feasible.
Thank you. Any other discussion as far as this motion? See any hands, so I will call the question. All those in favor? Was passed. Very good. 6.3. Canadian Catholic School Trustee Association 2024 AGM and convention attendance. Trustee Miller, again, if you want.
Spending money. I move that the board approve, that the board approve sponsorship of 2 trustees to attend the 2024 CCSTA convention.
Thank you. Yes, please.
The Finance Committee was asked to review its governance budget to recommend sponsorship of trustees from the STAR board to attend this convention. The committee completed this work and found that the board could sponsor up to 3 trustees to attend the convention. This would include the registration fee, mileage, accommodation, and other incidental costs that were discussed for a trustee to attend.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to speak to this? Then I will just sit. Go ahead, Trustee.
I just want a clarification. So in the backgrounder, it says of up to 3, but the motion is for 2.
Yes.
Thank you. So absolutely, the Finance Committee does recommend that there is room within the governance budget to send up to 3 trustees to this convention, but it has been predetermined that only 2 can actually attend. So therefore, the motion is for 2.
If there were 3, we should just. Any discussion? And I will call the question. All those in favor? Good. Next thing is 6.4. Capital reserves allocation and Trustee Miller.
Money. Okay.
Money, big money.
I move that the board approve to allocate $700,000 of capital reserves towards the central office renovations project. I did not prepare any speaking notes because there is a really nice background in the package.
An excellent background, which I'm sure everyone's read. Does anyone have any questions regarding this or discussion regarding this before we call the question? This is a big project which I believe is really needed. And very important. Any questions? And I will call the question. All those in favor? Okay. That's easy. Wow. Now we come down to committee reports. There was no report, the long range planning committee, probably. No report. Are there any questions about the long range planning committee report? Discuss. The finance committee report. We've had lots of discussions this week. But is there any questions? Thank you for the reports. And now I would see if someone would like to take us in camera. Trustee Lynn.
I move that we go in camera for as per policy 7.5.2 individual employees.
Thank you. So I would ask. And Caitlin.
Mr. Bouchard, just Mr. Bouchard stays, right?
No, senior administrator.
Yes, you know, okay.
Thank you. It's posted. So issues in this one.